we don't often ask ourselves, how can we enjoy making money? It's supposed to be hard work. We're not supposed to have fun in school. We're not being taught that joy is important. And yet, I believe that everyone who's the best in the world at anything loves what they're doing, or at least loved what they're doing on their way there. Otherwise, they wouldn't be the best in the world.
The goal with today's episode is to teach you how to make $1,000 extra per month online. And to do that, I'm here with Erik Bergman, who made over $50 million online before he was 30. Erik, why do you want to teach people how to make money online?
Well, to start with, to make $1,000 a month online isn't actually that hard. And I believe that everyone can do it. And I believe that $1,000 extra is enough to solve pretty much everyone's money problems. Like if you had $1,000 extra each month, you could get me more free time. You wouldn't have to worry about the dishwasher breaking down or whatever could happen. And I just simply think you would sleep better at night. And I would love to take away that worry from people's lives and give them this gift.
That sounds like a sense of peace that I think many people would enjoy having. So what can someone specifically do to start making money online?
Okay, so the most reliable way to make money from home is to develop a valuable skill. And I will go through exactly what skills to learn, how to learn them, and then how to turn these skills into money.
Beautiful. And if you are here for the first time, this is the becominggreat.com podcast. And the purpose of this podcast is to teach you how to make the world, or just your own life too, for that matter, better through business and personal development. Today's episode is going to be in 4 parts. The first part, we're going to look at the success story. A friend of ours that managed to make $1,000 online per month. And we're going to look at specifically what he did to succeed. The second part, we're going to look at the most important and the most overlooked ingredients to succeed at this strategy. In the third part, we are going to look at which skill should you choose, what should you focus on, and how can you learn it fast. And in the fourth and final part, we are going to look at how can you sell this skill once you have developed it so you can start making money from it. Let's begin. Our goal with this episode is to change your financial future. And this happened to a friend of us. Erik, would you tell us the story of our friend?
So, a few years back, I got an email from a guy named Felix, who I've never met before. And he told me that he loved writing. And he asked me if there was something that he could write for me for free, simply because he wanted to get some more business experience. He was currently in college or first year university, something like that, a young guy. And he specifically told me, can I help you to write things? I love writing.
Okay, so I guess at that point you're running a company. There was a lot of people reaching out to you in a lot of different ways. What made Felix stick out? Why did you want to take an interest in him?
So quite a lot. I had a lot of social media followers back then as well. And a lot of people reached out and said, can I help you with something? Can I work for you with something? And the tricky thing with that is that it takes me off guard in a sense, I don't know really what do I need help with. I don't know what this person is good at. So I'm kind of need to come up with a task and say, can you do this? I don't even know if you're good at it. But when he was specific in his question, I love writing. Can I help you with writing? That way I could just ask myself, is there any writing things that I need help with? And at the time I needed help to write some newsletters. So simple emails going out once a month or something, and I didn't do it myself. and I tend to forget about it. So I asked him, can you just do this? And he did it within like, I don't know, an hour from me sending him the first email. I was like, hey, this is something. So it became like he had already proven himself within an hour after me sending that first task, compared to if I need to think of something I might needed help with, send something like general instructions about this, whatever task it is. But just thanks to him being specific, and me could easily find such a task, and he could prove himself within an hour.
Right. So he was specific with what he wanted to do. So you didn't have to spend a lot of energy coming up with tasks. You also had a increased trust in that he could do the specific thing he offered. And then he also proved himself by being quick to deliver.
Yeah, and he delivered well. I mean, I could easily see that this guy is a good writer. He could easily turn my short instructions into a good message.
So what did he ask in return for doing this?
He just wanted to do it for free. He wanted to get some experience, and he wanted to show me what he could do. And after this, he asked me if there were more things he could do, and he still wanted to do them for free. So I kept giving him tasks, and he kept delivering very quickly. And then he asked me like, okay, what can I improve on? What can I do better? And I started coaching him in this, so he did a better job. And we kind of grew together for like, I don't know, maybe a month or something like that. And then he did so many tasks for me that he started asking like, is it okay if I get paid at least a little? And he didn't want much. He started very low, and to me it only felt fair. Like, yeah, of course I'm gonna pay you something because now you're doing a lot. So for me as an employer or coach or mentor, whatever you want to look into this, I kind of got something for free without even trying, and then he was really good, and he could show to me that I had this need, and he could make my life easier without me ever needing to take a tough decision.
It sounds very smooth, all of it. Almost like a seduction.
Yeah.
What more can someone learn from this story?
So, well, I think it's the things that he did really, really well here is that he knew what he loved to do. And he asked me very specifically, can I do this for you? Which make it easy for me to say yes. He started for free. He delivered very quickly. He asked a lot of questions, what can I do better? And he did those things that I asked him to do better. And then the more I gave him, the more tasks I gave him, the better he got. And then pretty soon he started to ask to get paid. And I mean, the best part about this story from his perspective is that he, after just a few months, started to make probably like $1,000 per month with this task that he took on to me. And he did what he also enjoyed. Like, it was the perfect kind of collaboration. And as you said, it was almost like a seduction. I loved having him around because he made my life easier. And it was just a great collaboration.
This all sounds so smooth and easy. Still, of course, not everyone is doing this. So let's move on to part 2, where we will explore the most overlooked and most important ingredients that is the reason why not more people are capable of doing what Felix did.
Sounds great. Let's dive into it. Most businesses fail. Most people quit and never reaches their goals. Did you know that the vast majority of all podcasts being started never even reaches the 7th episode?
You told me before this episode, and I didn't know that. Why do you think that is?
So, personally, I believe that it's a lot harder to start a podcast than people think. And it's easy to get stuck in the outside validation. Like, I need to see the results to keep going because I actually don't really enjoy the process. I need the listeners to keep going. So what's a better way of doing it?
A way that we did it when we started our podcast.
Which is obviously better.
Of course. It's our super duper process that we call the pyramid of success. And this is not just for podcasting. This process, both me and Erik use in pretty much all creative projects that we're trying to start. And this is a 4-step process where the first step, we focus on having fun, to enjoy the process. The second step, we focus on learning so that we are developing. The third step, we're focusing on giving value to other people. And the fourth and final step, that is where we're looking at scaling a project.
And scaling could be making money.
Making money, getting more viewers,
Whatever
marketing, all of that stuff. And now you listening might be thinking, having fun, that sounds kind of fluffy. I want the results, right? But why is it important to have having fun as a foundation when starting a project?
So if we take podcasting, for example, if you enjoy podcasting, if you start going from an energy like this is really fun, and that's the most important thing for you, there isn't really a reason to give up early on. And any skill takes energy to develop. Any skill takes time to develop. And if you choose something that you enjoy doing, that you feel like a natural drive towards doing, it's so much more likely that you will continue doing it. I mean, think of every professional football player in the world. They probably loved playing football when they grow up, and that's why they got good at it. So if you spend time trying lots of different skills early on to know which one you naturally think is fun, I believe that the chances of you succeeding is 100 times bigger, because you will be able to give it more energy. You will be able to think about it outside of work. I mean, you're going to start, I think about podcasting when I'm in the shower because I'm so excited about doing the podcast. And that will make me naturally better. And I think that the joy part is so easy to forget, because, I mean, if you're looking at videos like how to become a podcaster, have you ever seen a video about how to actually enjoy podcasting?
No, never.
What are they about?
I haven't looked in podcasting specifically, but I did it for creating my YouTube channel. And all videos are about how can you get more viewers? How can you have a bigger reach? How to market your channel? And all of that stuff is the fourth step in our pyramid, like the scaling. But that comes first in instruction videos.
Yeah, and so what's interesting with that is all of those things are obviously important, but they're not important until you're good. And you become good by enjoying something. You get good about spending a lot of time and energy into doing something. And it's easy when you develop the skill to think, I just want to make money. I want to get to this and that.
Yeah.
But in pretty much any skill, you will competing against people who do enjoy it, which means that, let's say podcasting. I mean, if you don't have fun podcasting and you're competing against people who love podcasting, you're never going to win. If you're trying to become good at football and you don't like football, you're never going to beat the people who love football. So I think this is why it's so crucial to start with trying lots of different tasks to find what do you naturally enjoy. Because it's so much easier to get good at something if you enjoy it than if you don't enjoy it.
Right. And that is even a tricky part of the title of this episode, how to make $1,000 per month. We would have liked to put how to enjoy making $1,000 per month, but that wouldn't really have been good marketing. We're on step 4, Erik. We're on step 4.
Yeah, so, we're already on step 4.
Why do you think it is that many people are not even sure of what they enjoy and what they would enjoy making money from?
We don't often ask ourselves, how can we enjoy making money? It's not the way money making looks in media and stuff like that. It's
and
in school, it's supposed to be hard work. We're not supposed to have fun in school. We're not being taught that joy is important. And yet, I believe that everyone who's the best in the world at anything loves what they're doing, or at least loved what they're doing on their way there. Otherwise, they wouldn't be the best in the world. So I think that this is a common trap that is easy to not think of. And especially if you're on social media and you see these business accounts saying like, work hard, sleepless, consistency, motivation. I was like, yeah, but joy, man. If you have fun, you're gonna get there so much easier.
Yeah. And without fun, you have to use willpower. And then you run out and then you're gonna quit. But with joy, consistency is easy.
Yeah.
So now that we know, I summarized this episode. Have fun. And knowing that, let's dive into part 3 of this podcast, which is how to find the skill that is most suitable for you. What if I told you that you can attend the best university in the entire world for free. Not only can you attend, you can also choose which teacher in the university that you will learn from. That sounds pretty cool, huh, Erik?
It sounds pretty good.
Yeah. So what am I talking about?
You're talking about the YouTube University, a place where you can learn any skill for free and where you can easily jump between different skills to kind of get an insight. Like if you're in, what's the process if you want to learn something in school?
I have to commit for 6 months without knowing if I enjoy something.
Exactly. And what's the process if you want to try something on YouTube?
You press a video and you watch it 3 seconds before you click off.
Exactly. So this is the thing, like on YouTube, you can get a good insight into pretty much any topic and you can see, does this spark my curiosity? If you feel like I want to keep watching, then you're on the right track. If you're feeling this sounds boring, then you're on the wrong track. And that's the beauty of YouTube. Like, let's say you want to be a pilot. For your entire life, you dreamed about becoming a pilot. And now you can easily like find what is it like to be a pilot and then have an interview with a pilot or whatever it is. But before you needed to do all of these different things to get there. So you want to look for...
Before you had to become a pilot, before you could talk to pilots.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And now you can get this so easily. So you can try lots of different skills by just getting an insight into that.
But there's a quadrillion skills. Which one, where should I start?
There's actually a quadrillion and 2 skills.
Wow. That's too many.
Yeah, well, okay, so let's look at it this way. To find what you enjoy, what did you enjoy in school? What topics did you enjoy?
I'm kind of a geek, so I really enjoyed math and physics.
Okay, so when it comes to skills that are similar to like math and physics, I would say programming. Programming is a lot about math and numbers. So it's likely that if you enjoyed programming in school, if you enjoyed math in school, you would enjoy programming now. And that would be a great way for you to start.
Right.
So I would go to YouTube and I would search beginner guide programming and then start looking there.
Right. So let's say that my interest instead was art. Let's say I was drawing the whole lessons. And the reason I didn't draw in class was because I couldn't draw a stick
You
figure.
suck at drawing.
I'm really bad at it. But let's say I was good. What could be a good skill for me then?
Okay, so let's quickly go over some different topics here. So let's start with math. If you like math, I would start with programming. If I didn't like programming, I would go to like accounting and I would search beginner guide programming, beginner guide accounting. If I was into arts and music or something like that, I would start with beginner guide Photoshop or beginner guide podcast editing or something like that and start in those areas. If I preferred, like if I did enjoy the social parts about school, being in school, but maybe not so much any of the specific topic, I would look into beginner guide sales or beginner guide recruitments, which is about talking to people. Or maybe you didn't really enjoy school at all. You could still like look at how to learn carpentry, how to learn woodwork. And you could still see, do I find passion looking at these videos? Do I want to keep watching the next video and the next video and the next video? And if you find yourself just staying on this topic and you feel like energized from doing this, that's a great sign that you're on the right path.
Right. So let's say you find something that you really like. Let's say that you want to learn programming and you're still in school. What can you do to even enhance that learning curve more?
So I believe watching videos would get you a little bit on the way, and then you want to start playing around with this programming, for example. So download some programs, go to Google and search like beginner programming, start playing around with it, and you want to find other people who do the same thing. And a great way of doing that is to start asking questions on YouTube videos. Ask like people on these questions, what are they learning? How could you learn more? You could go to Facebook groups. There are like Facebook groups about everything, like beginner programmers or learning programming or whatever. And you want to find other people who are on the same journey as you are, because well, everything gets more fun if you're two people and you can share your best videos or tips with the other person. They can share it with you. And suddenly learning becomes so much more fun. And what's amazing with the internet is that there are millions of people trying to learn exactly the same thing that you want to learn right now. And if you talk to them, everything gets easier and it gets more fun.
Right. And I guess you can do this in school as well. Putting up a poster, I want to learn programming. Is there anyone else?
Definitely. And there might even be a club for it in school if you're still in school.
Yeah.
And there might be, for programming, a thing like that, there's probably classes you could take on top of this once you know that I'm actually interested in this. So the key here is to start by testing lots and lots of different skills and by just watching videos. And once you find, I just want to keep watching this, then you know that, okay, I could take a class with this, I could join some kind of club, I could start trying it out. But then you know that you have an energy, a will comes from within to do this. You don't need fast results if you feel, wow, I really want to learn.
Yeah, and then you want to stay on it. So there's an exploration phase and an exploitation phase where you start focusing.
Exactly.
Right. So far we have learned that you should have fun and you should find a skill that suits your natural interests. That is going to make you become really good really fast. But now when you are good, the next step comes to getting paid, right? Getting those dollars. So let's move on to the fourth and final part of this podcast and look at how can you sell the skills you're beginning to master.
Do you know what the difference is between buying something and being sold something?
What's the difference?
Oh, that was a quick reply. Well, if you leave the store and you feel, did I really want this? That means that you've been sold something. Someone kind of got you to buy something without you really knowing that you wanted to buy it. And you probably didn't want to buy it. And when you leave the store and feel, I really want this thing, and you feel like you make a good decision, that means that you bought something. The difference is you have made the decision to buy, or you kind of been tricked to buy by someone selling. And this is a crucial part in sales, because when you're buying something, you kind of come in with some information, you know what you want, and the seller is really good at just giving you information, always feel like you are making the decision. But a seller is someone who kind of is a bit pushy, kind of tricks you into getting something you might not even wanted, and like taking advantage of you making quick decisions. And what we want to be good at when we start making money online is getting people to want to buy. And this is something that Felix did really well. So to start with, he already had developed the skill of writing by loving writing, as we touched upon earlier. And he reached out to me and very specifically told me, do you need help with something about writing? Which made it easy for me to say yes. And he wanted to do it for free, which obviously wasn't selling anything at that time. And then he proved himself doing a really good job. So I felt all the time that I have a lot of information here. I know that he's doing a good job. And he started just generously doing things for me because he wanted experience. He wanted to show what he could do. So already here is a good way to start laying a foundation for making someone want to buy. So this is kind of the first step, understanding the difference between buying and trying to sell something. So let's say you started there, and you can either get the person you're helping to want to start buying. You could reach out to more people. You don't just need to reach out to one. And you want to give them so much information and so much value that they want to come back to you and just simply make the decision themselves. The other way of looking at this, let's say this person don't want to start buying from you. Something that Felix did that I think is really inspiring is that he started adding a lot of value to other people online, people in different forums who wanted to start writing or were looking for writers or asking, how can I find writers? He started being very involved in Facebook groups and on YouTube videos and everywhere where he could find people asking questions. Now, when he had learned a lot more by working with me, he started answering all of these questions. He became a magnet. He became someone who people came to for information. And once again, where people have a lot of information, they feel that they are buying. So after a while, he started making money with me and working with me. But he also started finding a lot of people who wanted to buy things from him because he gave them answers. So you're kind of, by giving answers publicly on forums, on Facebook groups, on YouTube videos, wherever, other people will see that. You will become an authority and people will come to you to buy, not because you're reaching out and trying to sell, but because it's clear that you know things.
So you create a reputation for yourself online.
Exactly. You're slowly building that.
Yeah, and that will start magnetizing opportunities and money.
Yeah, I mean, people will see this. So if you're selling, you're reaching out to people, you can only sell while you're awake, in a sense. If you're calling people, you can only call while you're awake. But if you have created lots of different answers to questions on different forums online, you have a selling machine that will kind of find you customers while you're sleeping. It's a big, big difference from how these two things are done. And everyone who comes to you will come with an interest of buying something. They will not feel that you tricked them into buying something. You will not have to convince them because they feel like, this guy knows what he's talking about. I've seen that already. I want to work with him.
I really like that approach of becoming a person with a magnetizing effect. So is there something more you want to add on sales before we start wrapping up this episode?
No, I think that covers it. So start by reaching out and add value to others. And then ask them, one thing that is important here as well. One thing that Felix also did is that he asked me if I knew other people who needed help. And I had lots of people that needed help, and I was happy to recommend him because he did a good job for me. So he reached out to other people that I knew and that did similar business and had similar needs. So he started both making money from me after a while. He asked me, hey, I want to get paid, and I started paying him. He made money from people I knew because he had given value to me. I wanted to give value to him. And he found lots of other people online because he started answering questions. So he kind of created 3 different selling machines for himself pretty easily by just being active online.
So what happened with Felix in the end?
I think this is the best part about this story, is that once he had gotten all these clients, he was still in university and he started putting up notes in school like, hey, do you love writing? I have work for you. And he started hiring students. And I think after a few years, he had like 20 people working for him. And in the beginning, he made like $1,000 per month. And I don't know how much he made by the end, but it was a lot more. And I think that's the crucial part of this episode, is that this is how you get to $1,000 per month. But that's not where it necessarily stops, because to get to $10,000 a month, you still need to get to $1,000 per month. And this is definitely a strategy that applies up to 10,000 or even 100,000 per month as well. It's all about building that skill, learning how to get people to buy it from you. Once you know that, the sky's the limit.
Sky's the limit. Okay, that's it for today's episode. We hope you have a clear overview of how you can start making $1,000 per month. And if you enjoyed this and you want to find really cool people online to learn from, I recommend that you check out number 61 of our podcast that is called How to Find Inspiring People Online. That episode is pretty much a big list of people that have influenced us the most, and you can learn from them as well. And we see you there. We're in the next episode, or, whatever you want. Have a good week.